All right, Coach. We're live now. The room is populating, so um, want to welcome everybody as you guys are logging in from all over the world. I'm here with Coach Nenad Trunic, one of the, in my opinion, one of the best minds in the game. I had the fortunate privilege of sharing a clinic stage with Coach Trunic in Pristina, probably 5 years ago, I guess now,
Yes.
for FIBA Europe. But Coach, it was a real privilege and honor then to meet you in person and to watch you, share with these coaches your knowledge and some of your experiences with the Serbian Basketball Federation, but also abroad. You're well traveled, a very important and significant lecturer in the FECC courses, which I still think is probably the best certification program on the planet. I don't think even in the States we don't have anything to rival what FECC does for coaches. So again, I wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time to be with us, to share with us. And for all of you out there watching, Coach has agreed to take some questions, but we're going to introduce the Q&A at the end of the discussion. So please use the Q&A portal there on your screen, and I'll receive those questions, and then when the time is appropriate, I'll forward those questions on to Coach Trunic. So, Coach, without further ado, I'm going to shut up and listen and learn. I thank you so much for being here.
Okay, thanks, Chris. So, good evening or good afternoon, coaches, different time zones. So, it's my pleasure to be here with you today. So, as Chris already say, I'm Professor Nenad Trunic, coming from Serbia. So, I'm a member of FIBA Europe Coaching Department and one of the key lecturers of FIBA Europe Coaching Certificate Program for years, which is one of the prestigious and excellent programs for top-level coaches in Europe. So today I'm going to talk about pick and roll. But before to start to share with you a screen with diagrams, with all the stuff, first of all, I should make some short introduction about this topic. Most of the coaches are going to overuse pick and roll in today's basketball because pick and roll is part of top basketball. But of course, if you are youth program coaches or coach who is working in under 12, under 14 kids, you don't need to take care about pick and roll because I like to say to my students and to coaches worldwide on the clinics that when we are going to talk about offense and individual technique and tactic of players, we can divide basketball technique and tactic in 3 levels. So first level, individual technique and tactic. So practically all situations one-on-one, both offensively and defensively. Secondly, we have all kind of collaborations with 2, 3, and 4 players. This is practically we call like group tactic. So all the stuff and pick and roll is a part of this collaboration. And of course, collective tactic, 5-on-5 game, and again, pick and roll is in. So in Serbia, we have ruled that we cannot use in youth program on ball screens before under 16, which is with idea to improve basic fundamentals, to improving one-on-one game, and to improve one-on-one individual technique and tactic of players. Now I'm going to explain a lot of situations of pick and roll, how to play against different kind of defenses. But of course, if you have not players with good well-skilled players with good fundamentals, both ball handlers and screeners, good passers, and other players who are moving well without the ball, is not possible to be successful in pick and roll. Now I'm going to share screen with you, and we are going to discuss a little bit to go more deeply. I hope everything is okay. Sorry, you can see well.
Looks good, Coach.
It's good?
Yes, sir.
I should make it bigger. Okay, let's say like this, just to check for diagrams. Size of diagrams is okay. You can see well?
Everything looks really good, Coach. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go like this. So first of all, before to start to discuss about a pick and roll situation, of course, we have different kinds, so many options with pick and roll. Top of the key pick and roll, side pick and roll, corner pick and roll, elbow pick and roll, elbow extension pick and roll with best shooter and best scorer under the basket, pick and roll with 2 best shooters if we are using a lot of, when we are using collaboration between 4 and 5, two players, or probably we want to play pick and roll before we want to create some advantage for the best shooters in the corner, reversing the ball on opposite side, or we want to create pick and roll because we cannot start offense because probably defense is going to deny first pass on the wing and we cannot start offense. So there are a lot of situations of the pick and roll, but I will start with some fundamentals. So it doesn't matter which kind of pick and roll we are going to use or which kind of purpose of our pick and roll we want to develop, we want to explore in offensive system. First of all, we should discuss about fundamentals. So basic situation about the basic rules, because I always like to say that players in one team are like employees in company. You know? So all players must make some job. So here, let's start to discuss about basic jobs or basic rules of screener and ball handler, or player who is going to use the screen. First of all, a screener, what he should do. So first of all, he should start to make move before to set screen. He should make move in opposite side of screen. So if he want to set screen, for example, on the wing, first movement is not to sprint on the wing to set screen, but first move is probably to duck in to try to receive the ball under the basket without any screen, because I don't like to use screen if I don't need to use screen. So first option, duck in, make fake, try to create contact with defender in order to come in front of me, to in front of him to receive the ball, and then full sprint in order to set screen. So of course, normal situation that screener must establish solid, wide and low screen and with different angles. Then later we will discuss about angle of the screen according to the defensive system, or also I will talk about screeners line. So on which line they should run after the screen, depending of the defense. Of course, after the screen, where I like to say when ball handler is going not shoulder to shoulder, but usually shoulder to hip, because usually short guys or small guys are going to use screen of big players. We are going to talk mostly about this situation today. So small guy or perimeter players is smaller than big man, so he should stay low, and practically he should go his shoulder to hip, his shoulder to hip of screener, and then after that screener must roll or pop out. Today we are going to talk more about rolling situations, and show the target to player with ball. So target, what's meant to show target hand. Usually target hand is hand away from defense, so this is very important as a teaching point for the kids when you start to teach them pick and roll situation. After that, it's also to discuss how he should roll. If he's going to use front pivot on back pivot, that's also depends on defensive system, and that's also depends on situation which we are going to explore in the later part of in the later part of presentation. What's about screener receiver or ball handler? Of course, he should see the screener, and before to use the screen, he should prepare using the screen, putting defender in the opposite side on the incoming screen. So if you are talking about live ball, that means that ball handler didn't use dribble, so he just received the ball with some ball reversal from opposite side. I prefer to teach kids to make jump step, jump fake, or drive fake in opposite side of incoming screen. Or if dribbler already start to use dribble, to make some kind of change of direction, for example, inside out screen in opposite, inside out move, a dribble in opposite side of incoming screen in order to move defense. So like this defender must be concentrate on that move, and in this moment with good timing screener is coming to set screen. So if we are not going to use this, practically defender, we will make easy life for defense, who is going to check line and who is going to zone situation, to scan situation, and then it's going to be very easy. After that, another stuff which is very important for me for ball handlers or for players who are going to use the screen is to make separation of defender. Because if they are so close to defender, they cannot see the court, especially if we are talking about side pick and roll. If a player is in diagonal stance, offensive player with ball, and if it's the short distance between him and defender, he cannot see anything on the help side. So because of that, I prefer to make separation. So making hesitation dribble, running to the defender with short jab step and going back with 1 or 2 hesitation dribbles, but also very important to make another kind of separation. So practically I'm teaching players to make 2 separations. One separation is from defender, and second separation is from the sideline, if you're talking about side pick and roll. Because if ball handler is too close to the sideline, practically he cannot drive on the sideline side. So it's very important to have both options, both drive lines open. So sideline drive and middle drive. This is very important. Then he should start to read defense, and later on we will talk about it. So after the moment when ball handler used the screen, he practically become passer. So for passer, or for player who has possession of the ball, he should see the full court. One of the reasons or one of the situations which can provide for him good vision of the court is separation. So if he's not going to be separate, he's going to take care of the ball, looking just for defender and controlling the ball. He cannot see anything over there. If he's going to create some distance between him and defender, he can see full court. But of course, first look always should be on the screener, because if not, I'm always asking why we are playing pick and roll. Because coaches, as I said at the beginning, we have so many times overuse of pick and roll. I'm not so big believer in pick and roll all the time. I'm using it with my teams. But for example, let's think about one situation. You are pick and roll coach. You're using in your offense 3-4 times pick and roll. Defense is playing well. You have not any advantage. And then short clock time. So 5 seconds to the end, 6-7 seconds to the end of your offense, you want to play pick and roll again. So defense is not crazy. If they're going to adapt their system for pick and roll, I think it's always better to play one-on-one than to play pick and roll at the end of the offense, especially if you already explore so many options of pick and roll before without creating any advantage. So passer must read reaction of the defender. She should make good pass away from defender, but very important teaching point is that passing technique. So we have not they cannot be successful in pick and roll if our perimeter players are not good passers. I prefer going back in the situation with youth program. So I prefer in under 16 to teach players that selecting players for the national team of Serbia, for example, for point guard position, for position 2, if they are not using well 5 passing techniques, I'm not going to bring them in national team. Because if they're using just one passing technique, for example, just 2 hands pass, they cannot play. Going back in European competition, so I analyzed with my students 2 years ago, EuroLeague, which is probably after NBA, most important competition in the world. So in EuroLeague, in season 2017-2018 and 2018-2019, I analyzed passing technique in best 10 passes of the week. So coaches from practically I analyzed 26 games, 26 weeks, one season, and 26 another season, 26-28 it was because of different number of teams. So in 50 weeks, best 10 passes, from best 10 passes, between 7 and 8 passes were made with one hand. So in today basketball, if your players are not able to do pocket pass or off the dribble pass with 2 techniques, with one technique with hand behind the ball, and another technique with hand under the ball, I think that they cannot be successful in pick and roll. So in that case, better don't use pick and roll, play one-on-one, because you cannot create any advantage in pick and roll. So when preparing the screen, going back in our argument today, so first of all, job of player with ball in diagram 1, offensive player 1, he should put the defender in that position that his inside shoulder is in the middle of the chest of screener. Of course, this is both players' responsibility, not only dribbler and not only screener. So he should fake in this situation on the right side of the court. He should make probably jab step on the right side or inside out from right hand. And in that moment, screener is coming. So practically right shoulder of ball handler defender should be in the middle of the chest of number 5, as you can see in diagram diagram 1. So this is responsibility mostly of dribbler, and then also of ball handler, of screener, and timing of the screen and angle of the screen. I don't want to talk about angle of the screen, because now in 2-on-2 situation it doesn't mean anything. You know, after that in 5-on-5 we can discuss about that. So as I said before, player with ball should prepare the screen with jab step on the right side, opposite side of incoming screen, or dribble on opposite side of incoming screen, making two kind of separations. Separation from defender and separation from the sideline. Because if he stays too close to the sideline, he cannot drive here on the right side. This is very, very important. After that, as I already say, number 1 should go with his shoulder, his right shoulder next to the right hip of screener, very close to him, without letting the room to defender to go between, because this is not good situation. And then he should read defender 5 firstly, and after then or other defender of the scores. Next principle for ball handler is that always he should attack the ball. He should keep offensive mentality. Doesn't matter which kind of defense they are going to play and which kind of offensive ideas he has in mind. So he don't need to go outside, being out of the shooting range, and he don't need to show the picture that he is not interested to score. This is very important. My opinion is that after the pick and roll situations, especially on the side, but in all other situations, this is rule, my teaching points for the kids when I'm teaching them pick and roll, is that after the screen, they should make 2 dribbles and then make decisions. Which kind of decision? Shot, pass, or dribble, or drive. So it's simple. But after 2 dribbles, they are going to spread court. After 2 dribbles, they are going to attack screener's defender, seeing what he wants to do, which kind of defense he is going to play. So like this, after that, we can use well situation. Okay, let's start with some simple stuff. So for example, here we have in diagram 2, situation when defender, ball handler defender is going over the screen. Okay, just talk first about him. Of course, number 1, he should attack. 2 dribbles. 2 dribbles to attack. In some situation, when we have 5-on-5 game, I'm teaching players to attack not here directly to the basket, but also attack on opposite elbow. Because if he is attacking on opposite elbow, number 5 must decide. If number 5 is coming to him, it's easy pass for 5, pocket pass, bounce pass for number 5, who is rolling under the basket. Or if he's going to stay on his man, it's situation that he can use elbow pull-up jumper, which is probably most important shot for point guards. Okay, in NBA now, when we are looking for shooting chart, we can see a lot of 3-point shots and a lot of shots under the basket. But I believe that we cannot have great players on perimeter without middle range pull-up jumper. So because, okay, today everybody are looking about Houston Rockets or Golden State, but Golden State has also inside the game. If you are looking for Houston, okay, they are shooting, but what they want? They didn't want anything. They are shooting 50, 60 3-point shot per game, and what they are going to win? Nothing with that basketball. Okay, it's the coaching philosophy, depending on the players available on your roster. But I believe that we must have balance between inside, outside, and middle range game in any kind of basketball. Because if you have that kind of balance, you have much more options. Next situation, I'm just now talking about 2 players collaboration. So if defender of screener is going between, so if he's going between, of course we can use in any situation when defender is going between 2 players or under 2 players. So I prefer to use rest screen situation, as you can see in diagram 4. So like this, even if my player with ball, my ball handler is not good shooter, because usually defense is going under when ball handler is not good shooter. Even if he's not good shooter on the second screen, I'm getting closer to the basket. So probably if I'm not good shooter from 7 meters from the basket, I can be good shooter from 5 meters. But here is very important to teach also screener technique. So for example, in this situation, when he sets screen on the side, inside screen, after dribble in the middle, On the rest screen situation, so big man, screener, he should make just front pivot around the left foot and set screen again. This screen now should be more diagonal screen in that way that he can open driving room to the ball handler. So this is very important. If defender of the ball handler wants to anticipate screen, of course, as I said before, with jab step on the right side or inside out, ball handler should reject the screen and attack the basket. If he can drive, score, doesn't matter, or if big man 5 is coming to him, he can use pass. I prefer on every single kind of collaboration between ball handler and screener who is rolling to the basket to use bounce pass, pocket bounce pass, off the dribble bounce pass. Why? Because if big man is coming to help, I don't know how high he can jump. So, okay, kids are looking for the Andre Jordan, kids are looking for NBA, making lob pass, but who can dunk in under 14, in under 12, in under 16? Even in senior team, how many dunks you are going to see in one game? 3, 4, 5, probably. But I prefer to use bounce pass because, first of all, big players who are going to help on this drive, usually they are going to come with hands up. So, or they are going to have hands on the chest level. So never they have hands down. Because of that, pocket pass, bounce pass is very effective. They cannot deflect that pass. And another reason why to use pocket pass on every drive in the lane and every collaboration with roller is that pass, bounce pass is much easier for screener, who is usually big player with not so high level of coordination, to catch the ball and to score. So this is my opinion. Of course, it's up to you if you want to use it or not. But I prefer in every situation when I have some opinion about situation, I should have arguments. So I think that everybody are coming to help with 2 hands up. If they have hands up or hands on the chest level, logical option for passer, for ball handler is bounce pass. So because of that, is very important to teach him. So in the situation when we have trap, of course, when we start working on the trap, we must to add one more player. So in the situation when we have trap, we have different kind of reads. So first of all, when ball handler 1 is going to see the trap is coming, again, he should make separation, 1 or 2 separation dribbles, avoiding the trap. Sometimes he can drive again after that, after hip separation, changing the speed, changing the rhythm of the dribble. He can beat with inside out his defender, or he can drive between 2. But anyway, in this situation, when also screener is going to see that ball handler, his teammate, is going to be trapped, I don't want him to roll under the basket, because if he's rolling under the basket, practically he's rolling exactly on the position when next defender is going to wait for him. So as you can see here in diagram 6, if screener 5 is rolling under the basket, this is easy situation for number 4 defender. But if he is rolling away, if he is practically popping out on the middle distance, and number 4 is moving up, so we have immediately 1 defender, 4 against 5 and 4. So it's very difficult for him to handle, and very easy even for players who are not great passers to find solution, because 2 against 1 is easy. Again, I prefer to use bounce pass in any situation. Probably one option can be 1 to 5 and 5 to 4 under the basket, or pass to 4 who is flashing to the ball, and then he should read 4. If 4 is coming to him, he is passing to 5 who is going under the basket. If 4 is staying on him, he can make middle range jump, free throw line jump, pull up jumper, or he can drive to the basket. So anyway, when we are going to trap, when defense is going to trap, offense must spread defense to open 3 passes. Here in 3-on-3 we can 2 passing lines, but if you have some players on the help side, 1 player must come outside to open 3rd pass. So I prefer, as a teaching point against trap, to teach my players to open 3 passing lines. 1 passing line parallel with sideline. This is practically, this situation is going to be pass to player 5. 1 pass in the middle, player who is flashing to the ball. This is here 4. And if we have some other, and usually in 5-5 game we have some players on opposite side, should be another passing line here, which is pass, I'm calling this pass parallel with baseline or with middle line. So this is important for me, how to read trap. So then now let's explore situation with the push side or ice defense. So if defense is going to play ice, we have so many options. Now we start with 3-on-3, and then we can talk about other options. So first of all, if defense is playing ice defense, I want to change angle of the screen. So number 5, instead to set screen as I have in diagram 7, he should make practically back screen completely rotating, but not back to the basket. I'm teaching players to set screen face to the basket. So practically he should be with chest, screener must be with chest to the baseline. So like this, he should hold the screen. This is another situation, another important teaching point, because if we talk about trap, so the number 5 here, he don't need to wait. He should escape. He should slip from the screen if he's seeing trap. In this situation, when defense is playing is icing, when defense is playing ice defense, I think that the screener must hold player 1 before number 1 is coming on his angle. So when 1 is coming to dribble, he should left number 1 and he should roll or do something else. So in this situation, practically against ice, he can just hold the line and go under. Of course, for number 1, we have different teaching, different stuff. He should attack in this situation left shoulder of number 5. Usually, I prefer to use one dribble on the side because for big players, big defenders, it's very difficult to move laterally. So if what I should say, what bad skilled players are doing against ice defense, they are making step back and they are shooting over big man. This is exactly what defense wants. So I don't want this. I'm teaching my players, for example, in this situation, if you're looking for diagram 8, I'm teaching my players to make 1 or 2 side dribbles on the right and then change direction, making dribble attacking left shoulder of a defender, or if defender is if defender is away, to make snake move or cut off move on opposite side. So in this situation, 5 is going over there. Another option against ice defense is again to make flash cut from opposite side and to form triangle between 1, 4, and 5. This again, talking about technique, 1 must make pocket bounce pass to 4, and 4 must make pocket bounce pass to 5 in order to score under the basket. This is very simple, very easy. And of course, we have some other options which I'm going to explore when we start to talk about 5-on-5 situations. So here, top of the key pick and roll, practically same reads. If defender is going to trail, ball handler is going to attack, attacking elbow and playing 1 against 2. Again, for me, best option is pocket pass. In some situations, they can use lob pass, but anyway, pass which I'm going to avoid absolutely is 2 hands chest pass, because I don't want my ball handler to stop dribble. This is because this is exactly what defense wants. So keep dribble alive, keep offensive mentality, try to attack big man. So attacking big man, you will see. If he is coming to you, bounce pass to 5, who is rolling to the basket. If he is not attacking you, inside out dribble, attack basket. If somebody else is coming to help from the right side, of course, this is simple drive and kick game. If defender is going under, of course, again, we can use pull-up jumper or we can use rest screen again. So this is very simple. Sometimes defense is going to play ice also on the top, which is, I think, not so bad option, especially if you have big guys under. So practically this is a contained defense with drop defense, deep drop defense, which is usually going to be played against point guards or ball handlers who are not so good shooters. So we want to provoke the shot. But in this situation, of course, it's up to us to decide how to attack. Again, I prefer to use this diagonal back screen practically with face to the basket. So screener must change position. So like this, when he's faced to the basket, when ball handle is going over him, he should see the ball without turning, which is very important, because or even in the top level, you can see so many players after the pick and roll when they are using back pivot. In the moment when they are receiving the ball, they are making traveling or they're making bad passes. I think it's always better to receive the ball face to the basket than to receive the ball back to the basket, especially for big players, especially for not so well skilled, big players in youth program. So now practically about two players. Again, if defense is going under, we are going to use rest screen. So from this situation, defense is going under. Number 5 screener should make front pivot around right foot and to set another screen for him and roll under the basket. So there are so many examples of the players, starting from John Stockton and Karl Malone in the past. In Europe, Diamantidis and Mike Batis, so many great players. Kalates now in Panathinaikos, who is not so great shooter, but player who is able to play not twice, but 3-4 times rest screen before to put defense completely out of balance and before to find some good solution. So if defense is going to play hard hedge, so let's look for diagram 16, we have more options. So let's see what I'm going to teach my players. So first of all, as I said, let's see, the defense is going to play hard hedge and over. So hard hedge of big man, and the ball handler defender is going over the screen. Position 4, player 4 here in this diagram, he should open passing line, because practically with hedge, it's same situation like against trap defense. I prefer to have three open passing lines. So even if number 4 is in this position, it's better to go even one step out, like against trap, in order to open passing line and to form good triangle 1, 4, 5. Same situation for 3. On the roll, he should lift up. So like this, number 1 can pass to 3 and 3 can pass to 5. But let's think about something else. So on which line number 5 must roll against hard hedge and over defense? So first of all, he should make attack 5, making probably sidestep, hesitation dribble, and passing using one hand pass to 4, who is going to use one hand bounce pass to 5. If he is going to make pass to 3, he can use pocket bounce pass with right hand, or he should make full pivot and make left hand pass to 3. 3, when he receives the ball, he should use again bounce pass to 5 because it's too easy for him. But let's think about rolling line. So if number 5, I hope that you can follow my cursor. Chris is okay. You can follow my cursor.
Yes, coach. Yes? We can see it.
Okay, super. So if number 5 is going to roll on this way, so usually number 3 is going to bump him. So like this, when 5 is rolling here, and 3 is going to make easy bump, and he's going to make close out on his man. But if number 5 is going to roll diagonally like this, or in 5-on-5 game, even here under the basket, look now, if 3 is going to lift on this dribble or on this pass, who is going to help on him? It's defender 3. So if number 5 is rolling here, number 3 should make this move and then close out on 3. Of course, smart coaches are putting best shooter on position 3 and the good shooter on position 4 here. So it's very, very difficult for defense. So because of that, it's very important to understand that even if 5 is not so good shooter, he don't need to be, he should be good screener. The important teaching point for me is to teach against hard show defense to roll diagonally in order to put defender 3 in the situation that he should make a long move to bump and long close out back to 3 if you are going to play roll and lift game with player on the help side. So this is very, very important teaching point. Of course, another option, if defender 5 against hard hedge and over defense, if defender is going to be late, jumping on 90 degree but being late, of course, number one should make a split move between two players attacking the basket with same moves of other players. So if he's going to make here, 4 is moving out, because if 4 is coming to help, he can pass over there even without shooter in the corner. So it's about that. If defense is going to make trap, coaches, same situation as we discussed before. So now I put situation diagram 18 and 19, situation 4 players. So 4 must make move one step out in order to open passing line, and then we are going to provide the triangle. So 1, 4, 5. In this situation, practically, we have 3 passing lines, as I explained before. 1 passing line parallel with baseline or with middle line, 1 passing line in the middle, and 3rd passing line is this line in diagram 19 with roll 3 is going to lift. So this is passing line parallel with sideline. I think this is really, really necessary against any kind of trap, against trap zone press, trap half court, full court, 3/4, but also against trap in pick and roll situation. Because I think that even against great teams, traps should be used much more. I remember I don't remember how many years ago, but I remember a long time ago when Pat Riley was coach of Los Angeles Lakers, when they played finals, I don't know which year, against Boston Celtics, he played all the game trap on pick and roll. So first 2 quarters, Boston scored all the shots with high percentage, and they were 15, 20 points in front. But after that, when they start to miss open shots on the trap, Lakers won the game. So you as a coach, you should insist on your philosophy even when things are not going well. But of course, you should firstly insist on the practice, working on the trap situations, and then you can do something else. So next option, which is a common option in today's basketball, is switch. So if they are going to switch, if 1 is going to switch with 5, so we have practically 2 mismatch situations which we want to use. We have 1 mismatch situation with one defender against 5 under the basket, and we have mismatch on the perimeter with the ball handler against big man. My priority, it's always to use first the mismatch under the basket. So if we have the switch, I want to open space. I like to call like this, I want to open swimming pool for big men. So we want to find good angle to pass ball to 5. In this situation, for example, if 1 is staying from this side, of course, 1 defender, after the roll, they switch. If he's came from this side of the court, of course, 1 should pass to 4, and then he should pass to 5. If defender is staying from opposite side, 1 should pass to 3, and 3 should pass to 1. And if defender is playing front defense, like usually sitting on the knees of big men, like usually coaches are doing, so we should make pass in the corner to 5th man, and then try to find line. But insist on that. Try to look for the angle even with 2 free passes, because we have advantage. One main goal in basketball is to create advantage, maintain advantage, and use advantage. So we create advantage, 2 advantages when we are switching. We should maintain advantage when we are passing the ball around the perimeter, and we should use advantage making the final pass to big man under the basket. Of course, his technique should be different. He should be ready to make swim move in front of a small guy, try to make duck in front of him, but this is more about individual technique. So next situation, which I'm going to explore here with you tonight, is side pick and roll isolation with 2 players on the side, with 3 players on the opposite side. So here again, same principle practically. When defense is going to play help and recover, we should attack big man with 2 dribbles, trying to make pocket pass with right hand on him, or to pass ball to 4, and then to create triangle. So anyway, we can split. Again, I don't want to do something special, but we have here just some situations which I want to share with you. So let's say like this. I think that instead to make a roll like this in diagram 22, So like this, if we are going to roll, practically screener is going directly on the help, because number 2 is going to help on him, 3 is going to drop down, 4 drop, they are going to rotate in that way. This is normal situation for defense, but we don't want to create this situation. Instead to roll on this side, okay, even if 5 is not good shooter, I prefer to teach him to roll a little bit outside on the limit of the paint. So like this, if someone is coming to help and they are going to rotate, when he's going to receive the ball, it's very easy to pass ball, for example, from here to 3 or from here to 2, if they are going to be okay. Even if they are going to switch, okay, with 4, or as we can see here, with 2, if he is receiving the ball face to the basket against 2, from this position outside of the paint, again, he have not any problem to use 2 dribbles and to attack him to use mismatch under the basket. Because smart coaches are always offensively putting shooters here. So on this roll, if they're going to help on the roller, usually it's mismatch again. So some coaches are putting 4 in the short corner here, which I think is not so good option because it's not so good spacing. And also if they switch with 4 on 5, it's not so big advantage for offense as is advantage when 2 is in the corner here. So I like much more to spread court. So for me, it's better option, diagram 23. I'm talking about offensive spacing, then option on diagram 24. Because here is not so easy, because from here, as I said before, 4 can help, but also if 1 wants to attack 5 with dribble, we have defender 4, defender 2, defender 3. So it's so small room, driving room for him. Because of that, I don't like to use this. Of course, as I said before, first option is pass to 4 and create a triangle. But coaches, going back to fundamentals from the beginning of the presentation, always situation. So ball handler must keep dribble alive, as I bold and underline this. He should make 2 dribbles and make decision away of the screen, especially if defense is going to play flat. He should make 2 dribbles and make decision. Pass, shoot, or drive. This is very, very, very important. Next situation, when we have defender going under, side pick and roll, again, rest screen. But in this situation, if we have player 4 here under the basket, on the second screen, when 5 is going to roll, we want 4 to lift up. So now defender 4 is between 2, between 5, who is rolling to the basket, and between 4, who is flashing to the ball on the free throw line. So we have 1 against 2 situation in one sentence, in one moment of the one sequence of the basket of the offense, which we want to use. So again, nothing to do if our point guard in this diagram, but can be player 2, 3, also 4, who is going to use screen, is without good passing skills. He cannot do anything. We cannot play basketball. We cannot use pick and roll well if you're not good in one-on-one. Next situation, 5-on-5 game. If I already explained this, but now it's time to repeat it again. So against trap, if they are going to trap on the side with 3 players on opposite side, I don't like every time to go this way. Even if 5 is not good shooter, he should roll outside, because again, coaches, we should provide 1 pass here, 1 pass here. And probably 4 is going to flash, as you can see on diagram 29, he should flash to the ball. So again, we have 1 pass parallel with the baseline or middle line, 1 pass parallel with sideline, and 1 pass in the middle to 4 who is flashing to the ball and who can then do whatever he wants. Against push side defense, we have so many offensive options. I'm using this back pivot stuff, but if screener is good defender, first of all, when he is going to see his man here, he can just fake to set screen and slip under the basket. This is first option. Or if he is seeing 5 under, he can pop out. He can pop out. But here now, it's important to talk about spacing. So if number 5 can score from outside, I prefer from 1 to attack right shoulder of the 5. So like this, he's going to be dribbled to move 5 over there, and 5 is not going to be open here, because if he's going to be open here, defender 2 in this diagram can easily help and recover on his man. So when he's going here, I want to take my 5 in this situation, popping up not more than elbow extension. So like this, when he receive pass, let's say from here to here, it's much longer closeout of 2, and he is between 2. Now we have 2 between 5 and 2, which is not so easy. Another option for against trap is that number 5 is going to make short roll. So like this, if we have shooter in the corner, like this, when he's making short roll, automatically we have situation 1, 2, 3, 4 against 3 defenders, against defender 2, 4, and 5. Again, coaches, passing technique in this situation must be left hand pocket pass or bounce pass. But first of all, number 1 should make separation from 1 and separation from sideline. I didn't make it here in this diagram because it's going to be too crowded because of size of diagram. But anyway, why 1 don't need to be so close here. Another option which we can use with, I didn't put on diagram, if we have shooter on the corner, of course, when we are going to see push side defense or trap here, so 5 can fake and slip immediately, 1 can use pass to 3, and 3 pass to 5, who is going to roll to the basket. If 4 is helping, easy pass to shooter 4 in the corner. So 4 and 2 must spread the court, stay open because they should open space and make difficult life for recovering defenders from the help side, like defender 4 and defender 5. So there are so many situations which we can explore, but as I said before, without good fundamentals, is not possible to do. If you are going to talk about handoff situation, handoff is practically like pick and roll, but I like much more to use pick and roll, especially flying pick and roll, because I think handoff is too easy for defense. Because of that, I prefer to reverse the ball and to swing the ball and to go outside. Going back here, how to attack again ice, another options. So if we have not player in the corner, as you can see in diagram 30, 5 can pop out here. So 1 can make pass to 5. When he's going to make pass on the 5, natural move of 5 defender is to go back, and 1 can continue moving under the basket, cut under. That can be easy give and go game between 1 and 5. I don't know if is everything clear, but I hope it's enough. A lot of information, probably I'm talking too fast, too quickly, but here we are because of that. So analyze this situation. 1 is with ball, 5 is playing ice, 5 offensive players should pop out here. So 1 can pass ball to 5, bounce pass, left hand. Usually 5 is going back to recover on his defender, and 1 he should cut under, easy backdoor pass for him if we have not player in the corner. So this is very important. If we have player in the corner, as you can see in diagram 31, we can do something else. For example, if 5 is going to pop out here, okay, after the pass to him, 1 can sprint, defender is late, always late because he's going to attack him. On the pass, he cannot arrive here. Which option we have? After this pass, 1 can go if 5 is here, for example. After pass from 1 to 5, 5 defender is late. We can make also handoff again, 5 for 1, or we can make handoff 5 for 2 if defender 2 is coming to help on him. So there are so many options, but it's very important to spread defense, to spread the court with other players. I think that right positions are always corner, free throw line extensions, and elbow extension in this situation. So keep in mind situation that individual technique of passing and different kind of reads can completely make big impact, big influence on your pick and roll game. If you have not players able to pass the ball well, able to attack one-on-one, they cannot be good pick and roll players. So this is very, very, very important. So let me see if I have something more. So I put all the situations with all diagrams also with handoff. So same situation here. For example, if defense is going to trap, we should open passing lines here, here, and also this player should come out. So always try to help to the player who is trapped. Even moving away from the basket, it's important to move the ball as soon as possible, as quick as possible out of the trap. Because when we are moving ball out of the trap, we have advantage. This is also mental joke for players. So when you are going to teach players play basketball, kids are going to scare from trap. I'm trying to teach my players to keep always offensive mentality. So when we are trapped, I'm always saying, super, good for us. This is 4 against 3 on opposite side. You just need to put the ball out of the trap as soon as possible. Then it's easy basket. And I don't think that putting ball out of the trap is so difficult. So don't come inside the trap, make hesitation dribble, or make pass fake, or make even pivot between two players. In this situation, for example, when two is trapped, he can make pivot. As soon as you move ball out of the trap, you have advantage. 4 against 3 or 3 against 2 in some specific part of the court. Again, here situation, very important. If defense is going to play ice here on the side, so it's important for offensive player 5 to maintain good spacing, but how? I don't want him to roll so quickly under the basket. So I want him to follow level of the ball. So if 2 is going to dribble, 5 is going to roll on this level. But teaching point for 2, it's never pass ball to him, but try to pass ball in open space here. So in this moment, when 4 is coming here to help, it's easy pass, right hand pass. Easy for good players, but nothing is easy. Same situation here. Defense is going to play ice defense here. So 5 is going to roll, 4 is flashing to the ball, so he can attack with right shoulder of defender. He can find triangle 2, 1, 5. He can find triangle 1, 4, 5, or he can pass directly if number 4 defender is following him. But this is very important again, coaches. Usually defense is going to help with last player on the roll, with last player on the help side. So when number 5 is rolling here, who is going to help? Number 4. 1 cannot help, 3 cannot help. So in this situation, okay, we want to do something in order to create trouble for him. So number 4, I don't think that he should stay here. Okay, one option for him is as I made. On the deep roll, he can flash to the ball. Or if defender 4 is completely here, he should move just couple of meters here in order to open passing line. But of course, in this situation, number 3 can drop in order to make difficult life for number 3 in the case that 4 is lifting here. Number 3 offensive player who should follow the ball and practically arrive on the top of the key. So if number 4 defender is focused on 5, number 3 is dropping down. So now we should make difficult life for 3. If 3 offense is staying here and 4 is coming here, this is easy. He can control with 2 steps both close-out situations very easily. But if number 3 is moving here on the top of the key of this dribble, now look, 3 defender should be here. We have 4 here. We have 3 here. So this is now distance between 2 players for 2 players which are responsibility of defender 3. So all those situations are very, very familiar with basic principles of drive and kick game. So my opinion is that you cannot try to teach players pick and roll before become familiar with all drive and kick situation movement without the ball, circle move. Very, very simple and very, very important. Another read, which we have here. So if 4 receive the ball here, defender 4 is here, he can make jump shot from the elbow. Or if number 1 is going to drop here, we can pass to 1 who can shoot the ball. Usually smart defenses are not going to help, but sometimes defenses are going to be late, because in some situations, some coaches don't like to play deny defense on the first pass. They want to play open deny here. I don't like this kind of defense. Why? Because coaches, if you are looking for offense, number 2 who is driving, which pass is too easy for him? It's pass to 1. So I don't want to let him this pass. So which shot is too easy for 1? Drive, kick, receive, and shot. So always we have opposite principles for offense and defense. If for number 2 offensive player pass to 1, it's too easy, I don't want to let him this pass. So I want to play deny here. So after that, next pass, which next pass is it's easy for him. Pass to 5. Okay, I want to bump here. Then next pass to 4, I want to drop with 3. So very difficult pass from here to here, back. Because of that, we should always consider that part. So always opposite rules for offense and defense. This is very, very important, and I think that we as a coaches, when we are going to build out our defense, today is not topic defense, but when we are going to talk to build defense, we should look for offense. So if offense wants this, we want to deny this. If offense wants second option, we want to deny second option. Try to put offense in difficult decision-making situation and in difficult technical situation. Because coaches, if you're looking again for technique, easy passing technique from 2 to 1 can be off the dribble, but some bad players are doing with 2-hand pass. Next pass, who is on the C side in vision field of 2, is pass to 5. So I want to deny this pass with help of 4. Next pass, who is in the C side from here, it's C side. Practically when 1 is here, all the part of the court under the free throw line is his vision field. Only 3, who is going to come on the top of the key, it's not in his vision field. Probably he knows that he is going to be over there, but he's not seeing him. He should turn, see, and pass the ball. So because of that, probably this is the pass which I like to left to him. Of course, after that, we are going to make close out, strong close out with 3. After that, if we have, let's think about this situation. If 2 is dribble here, is 3 is coming here, 4 here, defender 3 is dropping down. On this pass, 3 should make close out, but because we have crowded part, right part of the court, on the close out, number 3 should practically push him in the middle. Because if offensive player 3 is going to receive ball here, if he is driving on the left side, nobody is over there. This is easy 2 against 1. But he is driving in the middle. We have in the middle offensive player 2, defensive player 2. Offensive 5, defensive 5 who is dropping down. 1, 1, 4, 4. It's so crowded that he is not in good possibility to find some good solution because of bad spacing. So because of that, defensively on close out, if 3 is moving here, on this pass from 2 to 3, I prefer on the close out to push on the side when we have the help. So same situation is when some coaches are going to push offensive player to the screen, which is very effective way to play defense against. So offensively, again, going back to this situation, we want number 2 to make hesitation dribble to attack defender. Usually it's better to make dribble on the side, hesitation and dribble on the side, and then with strong change of direction, attacking right shoulder of defender 5, and then see solutions. If 3 is going to help from the first pass, left hand of the dribble pass. If 4 is going to help, pass to shooter or backdoor pass to 4. If 1 is going to lift down to close the roll here, this is difficult pass over there, because I want to decide about my offense that I want to open C side of the player. So for example, if 2 is driving here, this part of the court, left part of the court is his C side. Right part of the court where on which is position player 1, it's, let's say, blind part. He cannot see well. So because of that, defensively always try to make rotations from the help side, because this is very difficult for them to attack. Then coaches, you can see some simple diagrams to teach players with different kind of angles of the pick and roll. The first drill, like horn situation. Second drill, like shake pick and roll or side pick and roll. Then situation with pick and pop and drive. Then situation with pick and pop and give and go. So all those situations you should work with players starting from under 16 without overusing pick and roll. So I think it's very, very important to be on that line, and very, very important to explore all these situations. How long is take care to teach your players different options against pick and roll? I don't know. That depends of talent of your players, depends of fundamentals, level of fundamentals. If they are well skilled, it take less time. Depends of your coaching methodology. So when I'm starting to teach pick and roll offense, I'm starting usually with 3 players and 2 defenders. So the 2 defenders, I have advantage. 1 defender is on the ball handler, second defender could be on the roller, or could be on the shooter on opposite side. So always alternate situations, alternate positions on the court, and then you can find some, your players can open their mind, open their vision field to analytically teach situation one by one. But again, rules for screener. Make fake, try to duck in before to set screen. Sprint to set screen in order to create time and space advantage against defender. Then set solid wide screen, stay low. Then immediately after contact with offensive player, roll to the basket or pop out, showing target hand. According to the defense, choose if you are going to roll diagonally or if you are going to roll on the short corner, as should be against flat coverage in defense. Ball handler must wait for the screen. Typical mistake for the players is that they are not waiting for the screen. They are starting to use situation without screen. So screener is without contact with defender. If contact is not made, this is not screen, except split situation. So when he is waiting for the screen, ball handler, he should make 2 kinds of separations: separation from defender and separation from the sideline, if you're talking about side pick and roll. Then he should make quick change of direction, going hip to shoulder, then 2 dribbles, keeping offensive mentality, attacking screener defender, and then make decision. Hard show, try to find 2 triangles with C side player and with blind side player. Flat defense, try to attack big man. Trap, try to open free passing lines. Ice, face to the basket, screen, attack big man, and try to find solution using pocket pass. So more or less, a lot of information, a lot of situations, but I think that I cover mostly all the situations which I wanted to cover in this presentation. Of course, understanding that in 1 hour we cannot talk, because this is coaching philosophy, how to play against pick and roll, how to attack, but basic stuff are here. And I think if your players are ready to make right decisions using this kind of information, that you have great solid foundation to add some other stuff, some other options. Going back to methodology, I think that we should always work firstly on one option, and then when we are satisfied with one option, we can go to the next option. I always like to say to coaches, to students, and to players that this is like video game. So we should complete level 1 in order to go on level 2. So when you are going to teach your players how to attack one type of pick and roll defense, go one by one. When you are satisfied with the execution of one way, add another way. Don't give them too much information, because today players with overuse of iPhone, mobile phones and all other stuff, they cannot make right selection of information. Our job is to cut information, to make selection of information for them, and then to add some difficulty, making more complex situations. So this is probably everything what I wanted to say. Of course, respecting the schedule, respecting this time frame. Coaches, so Chris, now if they have some questions, I'm ready to answer, of course.
Awesome. Coach, thanks so much. This is great stuff. I want to get into a few of these, and it's okay if we, like I said, if we run a little bit long. We appreciate you being here. So one of the questions was, in all, like as an instructor of this game, in all the practical work that you do in teaching your students, you mentioned earlier, right in the beginning, about how important passing is, and not being able to just pass one way, you know, that you need to have multiple levels to your passing game. So that would be a fundamental, Coach, that you would probably think is very important. What are the main fundamentals that your players would have to demonstrate, you know, to satisfy you as somebody that's a part of that selection process for Serbian national teams, youth teams, etc.?
So it's a complex question and complex answer. I think that they must have as more as possible. So what I'm doing, I'm dividing basketball in 4 phases: half-court defense, transition offense, half-court offense, and transition defense. So me as a coach, I'm putting for all phases of the game different jobs, so different rules. And I'm making just pluses and minuses for my players, which kinds of skills they can execute well or not. So I think that outside of talent of player, they should be talented to score. They should be talented to pass the ball. This is clear. But I don't think that even one basketball player in the world should have some special gift to make good cuts, to make good movement without the ball, to make good box out. So this, I'm calling this basketball energy. I think that those movements without the ball are making difference between good teams and bad teams. Because if we are thinking just about ball handling, about passing, about dribble, about the shooting, players are spending probably 10% of the time on the court using the ball, with ball. 90% they are without the ball. So I prefer, of course, all of us, we like players who are good ball handlers, good scorers, good decision makers. But anyway, this is normal, so this is visible. So except best 2-3 players, and everybody can recognize who are those 2-3 players, I'm looking for the players who are ready to make this, I'm calling this energy stuff, energy basketball. Cutting, boxing out, going on offensive bout, moving without the ball. Of course, if we are talking about special players, scoring different way of finishing. I'm looking for players who can score in different way of finishing. If you are looking for guards, players who are able, as I said before, to use 3 or 5 passing techniques. For point guard, 5 or 6 techniques. For perimeter players 3. But when I'm talking about passing technique, I'm not talking about using passing technique against wall. I'm talking about individual tactic of passing. What is individual tactic of passing? Open court, some examples. Open court, defender is away from you, you're in fast break, 2 hands chest pass. Super. 5-on-5 game, defender is close to you, aggressive defense, 1 hand pass. You are driving to the basket, you are in the paint, you should pass ball to the big man, bounce pass, pocket pass of the dribble. You are driving, you are going to pass ball to the shooter in the corner of the dribble, direct pass. So this is for me individual tactic of passing, which is probably for pick and roll game most important skill for the players. Of course, shooter. If they cannot score, we cannot play. So all kind of shots, as I said before. I don't like to have some specialist shooter who cannot create for themselves anything. Because I think that we as a coaches, we have much more option to be effective defensive options, to be effective against different in pick and roll defense than in one-on-one. Who can guard well? Harden. But if you put Harden with someone else to play pick and roll, you can trap him. He's going probably to pass ball to some other player. This is something. This is conceptual risk, which I'm accepting because ball is not in the possession of the best shooter. So this is about coaching philosophy. So I think that one-on-one isolations, players to be able to play one-on-one. When I'm looking for national team players, I have first 4 criteria, very simple. One-on-one with ball offense, one-on-one on ball defense. One-on-one without the ball offense, one-on-one without the ball defense. Then I'm adding something more by position. So this is my answer, probably so too long, but this
No,
is
that's
my
great.
answer because questions. I can read also questions here, Chris. Okay, youth coaches, very sure individual development to be a good executive, to be able to show each move. So I think that coaches in today basketball is great if coach is good demonstrator. Of course, this is good, but we cannot find all the coaches to be good demonstrators. But today is very easy because we have a lot of video stuff. So it's on one click to show how they are moving. So for example, it's important. But I remember just a couple of years ago, I find some great video about Klay Thompson when I was in Iran, working with Iranian kids. So I find some video when Klay Thompson scored 44 points using just 4 dribbles. So this is video which I'm going to show on every clinic when I'm talking about movement without the ball. So 44 points with 4 dribbles. That means that all the movement without the ball was excellent. That means that in the moment of the receiving, he already created advantage. And again, going back to your question, Chris, if you are moving well without the ball, to move well without the ball, you don't need some special gift from God, from mother, from postman, doesn't matter. So we need to teach them, but this is not so difficult like score 7 from 10 for 3 points. So this is very important. Be good demonstrator is okay. If you are not good demonstrator, you can show to them video, or you can invite some older players to show, or you can choose best player in your team to show some skill on which he's very good. This is my answer. Another.
Coach, sorry,
Yes?
I didn't mean to interrupt, Coach, but kind of on the same, and this one didn't pop up, but we had some questions about it the other day with a different lecture. But I've watched you multiple times, you know, some on clinics like this. And one thing that I've always thought you've been really, really incredible about is introducing spontaneous decision-making in your practices. So, you know, when you were demonstrating here with the diagrams about pick and roll and, you know, asking the playmaker to create space, separation from the player, separation from the sideline, how important is it? Because there's a lot of coaches watching this and that will watch this that are working at some level of development. They're either trying to develop youth players or they're working with, you know, higher level players and they're trying to sharpen skills. How important, Coach, do you think using spontaneous decision-making techniques and drills and exercises in your practices, how important is that for these coaches to utilize?
I think this is most important part of basketball practice. And I think that we should start with decision-making drills from under 12. So again, going back to theoretical stuff, we can talk about individual technique and individual tactic. What is individual technique? Skills, passing, shooting, getting open, dribble, all the stuff. Individual tactic is how to use skills. So practically our skills, our individual technique is tool to use for some purpose, individual tactics. So I think that when we start to teach kids, when we are going to explain to kids mechanic of some movement, immediately we should explain to them first theoretically, to say, okay, this skill is going to be used in this situation. Very important. For example, shot fake, drive fake. Defender is away from you, you are going to use shot fake because you want him to get closer to beat him. Defender is close to you, you cannot use shot fake because he's going to bring ball from you. So you're using the drive fake. Why? Because your goal is to make separation. So I think from under 12, we should start to organize drills on decision making. And another important moment for me in the practice, in organizing practice, is that all the situation which we are talking about should be on the position on the court when that happened during the game. So game-like situation. Because you can see, for example, in youth programs, so many coaches, let's say, working on shot fake. And players are staying in the line and they're making auto pass and making shot fake on the half court or on defensive half court. I don't like to use that kind of drill because I think it's not effective. Even passing. I don't like to use too much passing drills, basic passing drills with frontal passes because that never happened in the game. So I like to use lateral situation, lateral passes with decision making, teaching players to read defense. Defense is close to you, one hand step away, pass. Defense is away, you can use chest pass. For example, fast break situation, defender is getting a rebound, big man is getting defensive rebound. How to make outlet pass? I'm using 3 techniques: over the head pass, push pass, or baseball pass if we run. No 2 hands chest pass because probably it's going to be good 25 games, but in most important game, if somebody is going to press us, we will make 5 turnovers and we will lose championship. So because of that, I think really that individual tactic or when and how to use kids is most important job of the coaches, create game-like drills from under 12 and over.
Thank you, Coach. No, that's awesome. That's something that after I first watched you teach and instruct, it was something that I immediately implemented more of, you know, in all of our workouts. So I saw a great benefit to that. Coach, I think we probably have time for one more question. And
okay, there is a one question here, Chris.
Okay.
Sorry. So about how to use mismatch switch. For example, another stuff which I didn't mention. If you want to use, if defense is going to switch on pick and roll, short clock, 7-8 seconds to the end, and we have situation that we want to use mismatch outside. Instead, just to attack big men, which is something probably defense wants to do this. I prefer to use, I don't know how there is some sentence in English about that, you know, coaches are using. So let's say 1 is going to use screen, 5 or 4 is going to switch on him. In this situation, I don't want him immediately to attack. I want him to pass ball on the side and then to receive pass back, because when he's going to pass ball away from this mismatch situation, natural movement of the defense is to drop down, to jump to the basket. So then when he's going to receive pass back immediately, it's easy close out to read, because in this situation, big man cannot react well. And another question for the same coach, it was about flat coverage. First pass of screen, I prefer against flat to make for big men to roll on the short corner. And against flat defense, I prefer to attack big man, because big man is flat, he's staying, he's just covering. I prefer to attack him and probably to create some advantage on the C side of the ball handler. Of course, from opposite side, shooter must lift up, because if his player is going to bump on the screener, we should be able to find good shooting possibility for him.
Great. Well, Coach, I appreciate your time as always. You have been such an important part of the game. You know, for so many coaches that I've worked with personally, so many of the FECC students have helped the Basketball Embassy abroad assist different federations, assist clubs, and your teachings and your time and commitment to this game is huge. And I appreciate you sharing now with this audience that's all these countries, but a lot of Americans that are logging in as well, and trying to grow their scope and their mind in how to approach teaching and fundamental development. So it means a lot to us, especially during these uncertain times. I was really glad to hear that things are okay, generally speaking, where you are. So we're wishing you and your family the best of health, and I hope that we can host you here in San Antonio sooner than later.
Why not? I will be very happy. Chris, thank you very much to you to invite me. It's always pleasure to me to share because our job is to share. I don't need to say to share knowledge because knowledge is tough word. I don't want to say also to share philosophy because probably Coach Pop and Željko Obradović can say that they have philosophy, but we can have opinions. Probably last message for all the coaches is that our opinions should be based on arguments. So when I'm going to prepare some clinic as I made for you right now, so I think that all the situation which I say that I think that we should do like this was based on some argument. Why? Because defense wants this. So I think this is very important. Of course, all the coaches are going to choose options, but we should have arguments why we want to do this. Can be right or wrong. With time, we are going to convince ourselves or other coaches or our players, but we should be convinced, because if we are not convinced in what we are doing, even our players are not going to do this, because best coaches are going to convince players that they are doing right stuff. So in the end of the story, it's not so important what you are doing, but how you are doing. Level of energy, level of confidence, and of course, technique, fundamentals. We don't need to even talk about this. This is like foundation for the house, because we cannot build the roof without building foundation. So thank you very much again to all the coaches. I saw also some friends from Iran here watching the clinic. I'm very happy to see all of you coaches here. And nothing, stay healthy, stay positive, hoping that we can organize also in San Antonio some real clinic on the court, couple of days or 1 week to talk about all the details with specific drills, with all the stuff. So thank you very much to all of you. Again, I wish you all the best, all basketball society, hoping that this situation is going to finish as soon as possible and we are going to back in our normality on the practice. So thank you very much again. All the best for all of you.
Coach, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.